You're plugged into Schaumburg Speaks, a podcast highlighting and celebrating local businesses and community in the Schaumburg area.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Schaumburg Speaks. I'm your host, Andrea Biwer, president of the Schaumburg Business Association. And as you know, on this podcast, I have the opportunity to sit down with leaders who are making a real difference in our business community. And today's conversation is a great example of that. We're talking about purpose beyond profit and how supporting local nonprofits can create meaningful impact for businesses, as well as your employees and the community as a whole. I'm joined today by Rich Bobby, CEO at Little City. Rich, thank you so much for coming out to Schaumburg Speaks today.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrea. This is truly an honor and a pleasure of mine. Thank you.
Well, you have a podcast, so how does this feel? Does this feel similar?
It feels a little bit different being on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm now answering the questions, whereas before I just give the question and sit back and get to listen to amazing people.
Yeah, well, when we're done, you could give me advice on how we could do this together. So before we jump into the topic, I'd love to start telling our listeners your story about yourself and how you got into your role as CEO of Little City.
Sure. Well, first off, thank you again for having me on this podcast. Really an opportunity to rewind the tape of growing up. I lived in a household that struggled with mental health challenges. My father in particular had significant depression, severe depression. And as I got older, I didn't know this at the time, but as I reflected on it, I realized that, wow, we had a really difficult childhood. Now everyone has difficult childhoods, but what you know is what you know at that time. And if I were to psychoanalyze myself, I wanted to do something to help others. And thankfully, my father did eventually get help. So that was a huge deal as I was older. But as a kid, going through the challenges of not always having a voice, so to speak, and I was looking. I didn't know this at the time, but looking for something where I can give back to others and essentially give other people a voice. And so through that process, I decided to go into the world of first psychology, because that was the only class that's of interest to me, to understand people. And then eventually went into the field of social work. And through that journey, in my early career, I worked at Hoffman Estates High School in the special ed department for a short stint.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
I have to just ask you a question for
Yes.
that. What years did you work at Hoffman Estates?
It was
high school.
2000.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a short
great.
stint in 2000.
That's my alma
That's
mater.
That's where
I went to high school.
Oh, cool.
So
Very cool. Yeah, I worked I was a teacher assistant
Yeah.
for the special ed department.
That's great.
And through there, my then girlfriend and now wife decided to pick up and move to the sunny state of Florida. And so we moved to Florida. And there I started working in child welfare for the Department of Children and Families. And that was really the turning point for me to say, you know what, I saw so much challenge, I saw so much struggle that families went through and that even kids went through. And I wanted to go upstream and find ways of how do we change processes, policies, procedures to make the lives better for other people. And so that was sort of my quest of wanting to be in a helping profession, was seeking how can I make a bigger impact on more people. And through that process, over the years, I have over 25 years of human services experience. Eventually, my wife and I decided to move back after being in Florida for about 6 years. So we moved back to Illinois, and my wife is a teacher. She became a teacher. And I worked at a children's residential program for kids who had severe emotional behavioral challenges in Evanston. Did that for about 6 years. And while there, again, just saw some of the challenges and struggles that kids were going through, families were going through, and eventually was led to Little City. This was over 13 years ago. So I've been at Little City for 13 years. And started out as the director of our foster care and adoption program in our Chicago office.
Wonderful.
And was over our clinical services. And then through that journey was over adult services, back over our children's services, And we have just a wide array of services that I'm just proud to be a part of. And eventually, about 18 months ago, I was, appointed CEO.
So what does CEO of Little City do for those that may not be aware?
That's a good question.
Everything, right?
If you were to ask my kids, I'm always working.
Yeah.
I will say this. I think it's most important that I clarify what our vision is. And really, it's our team that's doing the work. So I don't want to make it sound like I do nothing all day long.
No.
So I do something, aside from checking emails and advocacy. But the big portion of my work is getting the word out to the community of the great work that our team is doing and the impact of that they're having on children and adults who have intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as mental health challenges. So Little City's been around for 66 years.
I just was going to ask you, I'm like, okay, so you're leading me to my question. So you as CEO are, let's just give it to the floor. Let our listeners know what your mission and vision is and explain to us, to those that may not be familiar, what Little City is.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately our purpose is providing individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities as well as mental health challenges, giving them opportunities and choices in life. And the vision we've painted is if we could have, and this is something that I'd want in my own life, if we could have it set up, if we reach that mountaintop of where every individual and family we support has three things. One is that they are connected to a community. Two is that they have someone they can call a friend. And three is that they're building skills and learning new skills to thrive in life. And as I reflect on my own life, like that's what I want in my own life, is I want to have some kind of connection to a community. I want to have friendships, and I want to continuously learn. And we owe that to the folks that we support. And so everything we do should be along that vision.
Just in case people don't know the types of folks that you support, could you just go back to the basics and explain a little bit on the types of clients that you have? Yeah,
absolutely. So I'll go back to the beginning of even Little City. Is there was a group of families, I believe it was 7 families that came together who had loved ones, who had children, who had intellectual and developmental disabilities, and they did not want their loved ones to go to state institutions. So they banded together and they purchased 56 acres of land in Palatine, near Harper College on Algonquin Road.
Right.
Most that drive past it don't realize it's 56 acres behind there. I didn't realize that. It looks like just 3 small buildings, but no,
right?
there's 56 acres behind there.
I've been there.
So these families bought that land for $40,000 in the late 50s. And so Little City started in 1959, and through that process, those children had group homes on that campus, and then those children got older, and at that time, sadly, parents were informed that your loved one's not going to live very long because of their disability, which through medical science and just the growth that we've seen in science alone, that was not the case. They're growing, and now we have someone who's in the early 80s. So through that process, we evolved, and now we have adult living arrangements. So we have children's residential, we have adults residential, we have a therapeutic day school for kids who have severe autism and intellectual disabilities. We have a employment service that provides job coaching for folks who are actually employed in some cases even in Schaumburg and Schaumburg businesses. We have a day services for adults that's located in Schaumburg that provides folks meaningful skills and days. We have horticulture services. We have an
Beautiful
amazing
plants. Yeah.
Oh yes, we have a harvest sale each year. Our team just sold poinsettias recently, and we have an amazing center for the arts that is now being called the Bell Family Arts Center that is going to be revolutionary, that we received several grants to make this possible, so that will be opening up in January. We have recreational services, we have Special Olympics, and then to branch out further, we have foster care and adoption services. We have Children's Behavioral Health Center in Chicago, and we have day services for adults in Grays Lake. So we're kind of all over.
You're all over.
We're in Matson as well for foster care. Yep.
Well, it's I've been aware of Little City for years, and what you all do for the community is fantastic. And I know a lot of our business members are interested in becoming involved in ways to give back. So it kind of segues me to the next section. So again, businesses now are finding giving back to the community. They know that that's very important to many of their employees, and many of their employees probably are impacted in a positive way by the services that Little City provides. How have you seen this shift in the 13 years that you've been at Little City? Mm-hmm. Have you seen a shift, like we're seeing that more companies in the area are wanting to do more things for nonprofits such as Little City?
Absolutely, and I think the part that I'd add to this is that many of the folks we serve, the spectrum of disability is so wide. We have some folks who require direct hand-over-hand assistance with feeding, to toileting, to activities of daily living, to folks who can be employed mm-hmm. in a business, like the Cheesecake Factory is an example here in Schaumburg. Yeah. And that individual, he's been working there for 6 years. And so that's the whole spectrum of folks that we support. But I would say this, is that everyone we support has some talent, has some meaning that they bring, and they bring to us, even as a team, that although businesses could help support us, our folks can help support them.
Right.
So our hope is, it's bigger than giving just the folks that we support meaning, but mm-hmm. we can give businesses meaning. We can give the community meaning, because the folks that we support, with whether it be corporate sponsorships, whether it be through volunteering, mm-hmm. whether it be through just contributions in general, that gives our individuals that we support the tools to be successful. So that provides, for example, Dick's Sporting Goods provides the weights mm-hmm. for our folks to train for the Special Olympics. And then those individuals are now getting gold medals in the Special Olympics, all because of Dick's Sporting Goods.
It's a full circle.
Right, it is.
So if I'm a small to mid-sized business in Schaumburg, and I think that many of your people that you serve could be a possibility they could hire, how do they contact you all? What's that process? First and foremost, for a business that needs people working for them.
Absolutely. Well, our main hub is littlecity.org. Mm-hmm. If they go to our website, and if they go to our employment department, they'll get the contact of the person that they need to specifically speak to. And our team will then help provide the framework of what's needed to help support individuals to land employment. And what I love about this, and I'll plug our own podcast, Little City, Big Voices, is I just recently interviewed one of our individuals. He's the one, his name's Howard. He works at the Cheesecake Factory in Schaumburg. What I loved about Howard's story is our team helped work with him to get him successful to go to Cheesecake Factory. But then they backed off, because Howard's doing it on his own now. He's made his own friendships, his own connections. He's spreading joy.
Howard,
They look forward to Howard coming to work. He's been there for 6 years.
Wow,
that is an example of how
story.
We're supporting, really about empowering and then backing off versus holding someone's hand throughout the entire process. And that's what we do for a small business too, is if there's something that we can help coach them on, we can help teach them the skills and eventually fade off so that they're doing the job on their own and ultimately giving back to the community. So Howard is now giving back to the community of everyone that visits Cheesecake Factory.
That's great. Yep. And again, you have a variety of different clients that are at your facilities that may be able to service some of the businesses. So that's great. So what are other impactful ways that our businesses of the Schaumburg Business Association could give back to you? Again, I know there's other organizations where, like Feed My Starving Children, that's in Schaumburg as an example, where they've gone, employees of companies have gone and helped. Do you have volunteer opportunities where we could get some of these companies' employees involved at Little City?
Yes, absolutely. We've been very fortunate on the volunteer front and always can use more. The businesses that come to mind certainly are Motorola and Zurich that are in Schaumburg. They have we have a couple board members that work for those two companies. but they have provided hundreds of volunteers and helping from everything from decorating, cleaning up from a campus perspective of beautifying the campus, to painting, you name it. There's running our field day for our school. There's always a need for volunteers. And like that's one angle to volunteer. The other is through corporate sponsorships and even in-kind giving. And I just shared this really amazing story recently is with IKEA here in Schaumburg.
Love them. Zach's on our board now.
It's beyond amazing. So our team had recently connected with IKEA, and we are in the process of creating this Bell Family Art Center that is going to be revolutionary. That again will be opening up in early next year. And IKEA said, okay, well, what is it you need from us? What can we do to help support you? So our team came up with a list of all the furniture that's going to be needed this is going to be a fairly large art center for folks who have intellectual disabilities. Came up with this laundry list, not ever expecting that, like maybe we'll get a couple items from them and it'll be nice and we'll say thank you. IKEA came back and said, we'll do the whole list. So they donated everything to us. And so,
Incredible.
as a nonprofit, we are still a business and we still have to make ends meet financially. Every donation like that helps us provide more higher quality services and grow and make more of an impact to more people because now we're not spending money in furniture. IKEA was so generous to donate that furniture, if it makes sense, that full circle there.
Yeah, it's just amazing how the spirit of giving, especially in this area, I just find incredible. So IKEA is a wonderful partner, and as I mentioned, they're a member of the chamber, and we appreciate everything that they do and they're doing for you all. Yeah. Definitely, we talked a little bit about the cultural shift of giving back. In your eyes, why else do you think some of the companies are wanting to do that more lately?
I would say that with the challenging times that we have today, and I have not researched this, Andrea. I don't have.
Yeah, but
I can't cite this. According to this Harvard Business Review study, it says this. My anecdotal experience is that I think when we've seen folks help support us and volunteer, especially, we're bringing the meaning, and I think that's really at the core of this. Yes, there's the value of giving back. But I think there's also something in return for those companies that are helping support us, is now their company has meaning. If I look at IKEA can now walk away and say,
we feel really good.
Yeah, we've added to a bigger purpose, and now IKEA as the business, have even greater meaning and purpose themselves. So the purpose is actually both ways, not just our organization, but the corporate sponsor as well.
That's just such a lovely story. What other stories that in the 13 years that can you share with us that have been real special, like another partnership?
Yeah, there's been so many. I would say that I know from the Schaumburg area. I'll go back to Motorola. They have some superstar, we'll say regular volunteers that are now we see at all of our events. I could call them out by name, but then I have to call everyone out by name.
Yeah.
That have helped out from helping decorate our children's group homes for the holidays, to helping with our Hero Walk that is in Bussy Woods, that helping set that event up and volunteering and supporting that event, to helping out and many of the activities throughout the year. But I would say that they've not only have helped out from a volunteer perspective, they've also taken it to the corporate sponsorship level. They've taken it to supporting big events where we have an annual gala that happens around spring. They've been a corporate sponsor there. So is just one example. We have other companies that do the same thing, but they've checked every angle and every box that we could ask for, from in-kind to they've donated walkie-talkies to us so we can quickly communicate with our team, especially in our school and our children's residential program. So they've done in-kind, they've done volunteering, they've done corporate sponsorship. It's just truly a well-rounded example of what the possibilities are for a company in Schaumburg.
So if I'm an individual working for a company in the area, or I live in Schaumburg and I want to be involved with Little City just to give back, because they hear all these wonderful stories, is there things that they could do on a small scale? Because obviously not every company could donate what a Motorola could do,
right,
and IKEA. Is there any suggestions that you have for these companies or individuals and how they could give back to your wonderful organization?
For sure. I think, again, I'll reference our website at littlecity.org.
Yeah.
And there's a section that says volunteer.
Okay.
If you click on that link, it will lead you to the person that could coordinate what one's looking for. But to your point, we have folks that volunteer, might just be once a year or might be every so often. The opportunities are endless. I think the big thing that we'll typically do is ask, what is their passion? What are their interests? What would they like to accomplish as a volunteer? Because it could be anything from, is it Special Olympics? Is it helping paint? Is it helping do gardening? Is it helping sell produce at our harvest sale?
Oh, you're leading me into my next.
So there's a lot of angles.
Yeah.
So I certainly don't want to lock anyone in to think that, well, I'm not Motorola and I can't do what they can do. But everyone can do something. I mean, we have folks that simply will just help out with the harvest sale alone, that will be there and help support our individuals.
So when I toured your beautiful facility in the summer, maybe it was early spring, whenever it was, I just saw all the beautiful harvest that was starting to come in. And I know you also have the opportunity for the public to come and purchase some of your starter plants and some of your plants. Could you explain a little bit about the opportunity where they could come and partake in some of the products that you are growing in that area?
Yeah, we have a horticulture center where we have some amazing staff that train the individuals we support to do everything from plants 101 to creating full-scale beautiful flowers to harvesting. And in the spring, right around, I'll say Mother's Day, we have a big sale of flowers that are just better than, not to knock any of the corporate brands, but better than
starter flowers.
That they could,
That's great.
that are better than most retail places. I'll say that because one, it's
made here,
made with love, with the individuals that we support, but it's made here locally. And so in the spring, certainly our flower sale, and in the fall is our harvest. We have garlic, best garlic ever, best tomatoes ever. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, it is the highest quality produce in the fall.
So this is amazing, everything that you do, and I cannot wait in the spring to go and buy some of the flowers that you just explained. You've been your organization has been part of the Schaumburg Business Association for years. I was here in the early 2000s when we launched, and I remember Little City being part of it. How has it impacted Little City, just being part of SBA?
Oh, it's impacted us in so many ways. So we're proud members of the SBA, Andrea, and we certainly appreciate your leadership of the SBA because what we're seeing, the connections we're making through your leadership as an organization has been priceless. And I can just give just a couple or at least one example of some of the meetings and forums or platforms that have been available to our organization through SBA has actually led to multiple connections. That's where it's even connected us to for-profit businesses, nonprofit businesses that we're still talking with today, and we met them all through the SBA. And so I think, if anything, networking and collaborating for the greater good of the community has been just outstanding. And I attribute that to your leadership of the SBA.
Thank you. But we're so lucky. We have amazing members like yourself that have been so part of this organization, getting involved. I know you all have supported Good Morning Schaumburg, which we're going to continue to do in our 25th year, and it's just been a pleasure working with you and your team. And for me personally, it's just been such an eye-opening experience just to learn about everything that you all do and the impact you have made to this community. So thank you for saying that. But again, we owe a lot
I'm not
to
being
you
paid to
all.
say this either,
I
Andrea.
know.
Yeah.
But we owe a lot to Little City for doing so much for the businesses in Schaumburg and the community to making it more special. So I know listeners are chomping at the bit. You mentioned your website, but how else can they contact you all to learn more? Please mention your website and all the other good ways that they could learn more about Little City and get involved.
Sure. We, again, the website is littlecity.org, and we have a Facebook page, Instagram page. You can follow us on Little City is our handle. And I would say that if I were to do an ask, that is, consider giving your time, your talent, or your treasure, or all three. At the end of the day, the funding we receive is predominantly through the state. But that state funding only goes so far.
Right.
And so the services from the horticulture that we were just talking about, from our art center, from our Special Olympics, that is all funded through grants, and that is all funded through corporate sponsorships and donors, not from the state. So if you have the ability to even volunteer for a single event, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It just shows you everybody can make a difference, and giving truly is getting. And your organization does all of it for us. So thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you.
And educating our listeners more on Little City and yourself.
Thank you, Andrea.
So enjoy
Appreciate
the
it.
day.
You too. Thank you.
Great. And thank you all for listening.